It's Friday, August 6th, and the time for your Barbados Today morning news update. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is due to fly to Barbados for a head scan after being injured during protests in his country's capital on a Thursday against proposed changes to the Public Health Act. The incident occurred as the Prime Minister was on his way back to Parliament where the amendments were scheduled to be debated. The Act seeks to remove the word voluntary from a section of the law that speaks to vaccination against an illness that triggers the declaration of a public health emergency such as COVID-19. The Prime Minister's son, Minister of Finance Camilo Gonsalves, announced in Parliament late Thursday that his 74-year-old father will be flown to Bridgetown for an MRI to determine the extent of his injuries.
That on the analysis and advice of the medical professionals at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, a decision has been taken that it is necessary to fly the Prime Minister to Barbados to receive an MRI consequent of his injuries. I want to say that clearly. This is not some scratch. This was an attempt on the Prime Minister. And I want to thank, on behalf of the government, Prime Minister Mia Mottley and her team in Barbados for making the necessary arrangements tonight to fly the Honourable Prime Minister to Barbados to receive that MRI. That is the seriousness that we're talking about here today. Okay? But I am fortified by Almighty God, and I am fortified by my Prime Minister's favorite song by Prince Buster. You could lick him down. You could knock him down. He will bounce right back because he's a hard man to dead.
The finance minister also urged the perpetrator who threw the object to turn himself in.
And to ask the assailant to go to a lawyer and to turn yourself in. There is video footage of you making your attempt on the Prime Minister. I sincerely think it will go better for you if you go and get a lawyer and you turn yourself in. There are two lawyers here on the opposition, Senator Bruce, the leader of the opposition. I'm sure they'd be happy to guide you. So that's one thing. I would like the assailant, with great respect, to try to put this episode behind us.
The COVID-19 monitoring unit is keeping a close eye on the bustling Swan Street shopping area. Head of the unit, Ronald Chapman, disclosed that the often crowded city street could become a potential explosive spreader of the virus. Emmanuel Joseph reports.
Chapman told Barbados Today that it's not good sense for people to spend their time in a crowded area just liming.
We've been seeing a worrying trend developing in Swan Street, where we have a number of persons who gathered there, and you know Swan Street is one of those areas where a lot of people go shopping. There are a lot of crowds and so on. Mm-hmm. So we will be looking into that and seeing what we can do about that, because it is not good sense for persons to spend their time in crowded areas, just liming. I'm sure that I know we want to be close to one another and so on, mm-hmm. But it is something that we will be looking into and see if we can help minimize the risk in places like that.
In the meantime, Chapman has revealed that protocol breakers continue to be placed before the law courts.
We have about 15 persons before the law courts for different violations right now. In fact, those were put in early this week or late last week. But all of those weren't PSVs. Some of them were PSVs. And what I will do, I would probably give you some sort of update where that is concerned once those hearings begin.
That was head of the COVID-19 monitoring unit, Ronald Chapman. And I'm Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, David Comachon, has called for a collective regional approach to human trafficking, particularly for sexual exploitation. It comes in the wake of the discovery of a 44-year-old Jamaican woman's body at Beckwith Street of the city on Monday, August 2nd. Ambassador Comachon confirmed that along with voluntary sex work, the issue of human trafficking has been popping up with some regularity, but he rubbished the notion that this country's liberal approach to regional migration is exacerbating the issue.
Whether it is CARICOM nationals coming to Barbados or extra-regional nationals from North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, wherever, we have to ensure that we have the necessary security apparatus in place to deal with criminal activities such as human trafficking. So that's part of our responsibility as a nation. So the way we have to deal with it in terms of the enforcement side. We can't deal with it by saying we are not going to honor the CARICOM principle or objective of facilitating free movement.
Member of Parliament for St. Michael Central, Arthur Holder, believes the time has come for Barbados to put aside homes for tragedies. He was speaking on Thursday in the wake of two house fires, one of which affected his 66-year-old constituent Anthony Gall of Savannah Road, Bushall, St. Michael. The blaze destroyed the unoccupied and uninsured property and also damaged the second house, leaving its occupants searching for alternative living arrangements with Holder's assistance.
I think the time has come for us to basically segment and put aside homes for tragedies. I think this has shown the urgent need to address this situation, and it has to be done. Where we can set aside a number of homes in the event of displacement. The sooner we can do that, the better for persons. Especially if you look here, for example, the house which was destroyed was uninsured and unoccupied, but yet fire started in it. So that is also a concern, whether or not how the fire started. But yes, the tragedies like this encourage us, exhort us to find remedies to assist vulnerable persons, especially when it comes to natural disasters. This is a classic example. And as I said before, we need to address this with a degree of urgency so that we can assist persons who are displaced and displaced with immediacy.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In news from the region, St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre Thursday unveiled a 13-member cabinet, including now independent MP Stevenson King, who is a former senior member of the last government. Pierre also announced that another independent MP, Richard Frederick, would be part of his administration.
In acknowledgement of the will of the people in Castries North and Castries Central seats, and the role that these two successful independent candidates played up during the campaign in helping the Labour Party secure an overwhelming victory at the recent general elections, I have offered ministerial appointments to both candidates. In both instances, the will of the people has been clear and emphatic and should never go unnoticed. Honorable Stevenson King, and Honorable Richard Fredericks, a lawyer by profession, have both held ministerial office, and in the case of the former, the office of Prime Minister. I look forward to the benefit of their ministerial experiences in charting a new and inclusive path on the governance of the country, and in securing the hopes and aspirations of the St. Lucian people. Their inclusion, though not members of the St. Lucia Labour Party in my cabinet, is to signal that my government will be nothing else but a government of the people and for all the people.
And finally, the largest wildfire currently burning in California, known as the Dixie Fire, has destroyed nearly all of the historic gold rush town of Greenville. CBS News has more.
It came in like a tornado. This raging wildfire tore through this mining town, engulfing everything in its path, turning it into a hellscape. Flames were swirling around cars and this temple, incinerating them all.
We lost Greenville tonight.
These are images of the downtown before the carnage. Historic Main Street now reduced to rubble. Homes, stores, and businesses charred beyond recognition. The Dixie Fire is on the move. It's now covering more than 300,000 acres. It's California's largest wildfire this year.
It's okay once you get past that.
Firefighters struggled to drive through the smoke. This massive fire started last month, but exploded this week, fueled by high temperatures, low humidity, and strong winds.
The most difficult part, I guess, is just not knowing what's happening and where it's at. It's just, it just explodes so fast. You just don't have time to react with anything.
More than 3 hours away, people on the California-Nevada border fled the river fire that created fireballs like this one.
Shaken like a leaf, but it's okay. I've got my family together, and that's what's important.
Heavy smoke clouds still fill the air here in this gold rush town of Greenville. We found Fire Chief Sergio Mora surveying the damage.
It's devastating. It's hard to put into words other than it's difficult.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.